Yes.
How many of you have a resolution for the New Year's? Almost. If you don't, I have some suggestions. Like some of these handouts. Did you see that? The walking or weight training or anything like that. You can choose a couple of those. Sleeping. How many of you sleep 7 or 8 hours a night? That's a good one. Everybody have a pen with you? Take your pen out and write down what your resolution is on that top one. If you don't have one, make up one. So if you're not sure what resolution is, up here is a resolve to do something. Usually it's a behavioral change or a goal. So just think about an action or a goal that you want. Write it down. You may want to share that resolution with everybody.
Lose 10 pounds.
Lose 10 pounds. I bet losing 10 pounds is the most common resolution every New Year's for most people to have, losing 10 pounds. And I'll use that one a lot in my examples up here, actually. That's usually a really good one. You must have another one? Does everybody's lose 10 pounds?
I'm starting to do with weights with upper.
Oh, good. That's a good one. That's an active one. I like those. Okay. So again, resolution is making a firm resolution, a resolve to do something. And so we'll see how much resolve you have as we talk about these. Resolution, another name for it is a goal. And there are two types of goals. One of them is outcome. Losing 10 pounds is an example of an outcome goal. One thing about outcome goals, and they've done some research on this, the more clearly you can see yourself as having accomplished this goal, the more likely you are to have done it. So take a minute, close your eyes, and picture yourself having already attained your goal. And the more clearly you can see it, the more likely you are to do it. So think about it. Picture what you're going to look like. Imagine how you're going to feel. Once you see yourself, open your eyes and write down that next slot there, how you felt, or how you're going to feel once you reach this goal. What emotions did you just now experience? Were you proud of yourself? As you're writing that down, begin to think about what kind of behaviors you're going to need to achieve this goal, especially if you have an outcome goal. Don't write it down yet. Just begin loosely thinking about the behaviors, because an outcome goal without an action plan is just a hope or a wish. It's like throwing a penny into a well. You're just making a wish. So we got to think about how we can make this become true. That visualization you just had, how can we make it happen? So we're going to be talking about behaviors for the rest of the session here. Before we get there, I want you to look again at your goal and think about the behaviors that you have to do to reach this goal. And I want you to pick out one of these numbers. Some of you came in here with no resolution at all, no goal, and you're just here to get your credit hours. That's okay. That means if you have no intention of doing what you wrote down just now, you are a 1, and that's okay. If you're a 2, yeah, I plan to do this, but maybe not now. Maybe this summer I'll do it. You're a 2. 3, you plan on doing this in the next month. Sometime here in the next few weeks you're going to get started. 4, you've already started. You made your resolution on January 1st, and you've already started. You just need a little help getting there. Okay? 5, you've been doing this for about 6 months. You just want to keep it up. 6, you've been doing it for more than 6 months. And 7, you may have a 7 in addition to one of the other numbers, a lot of people do, is you've done this before. You're trying again, okay? So write down your number. What stage of change are you in? That's what that number is. So what it says right there, what stage of change are you in? These questions are based on a trans-theoretical model of change. And depending on what stage you're in, there are strategies for each of these stages. And I'll explain why you had to have certain strategies for these. Everybody have the number written down? All right. If you're in 1, you're in the pre-contemplation stage. That means denial. Think about your cranky Uncle John who's like, I ain't got to quit smoking, everybody's going to die of something, right? Somebody who doesn't want to make a change. So a strategy would be to increase the awareness of the need to change. So if you're in this stage, you need to educate yourself. What's going to happen to you if you don't make the change that you know you need to do? You know, if you have a friend who you want to help quit drinking, you want to help them to learn the dangers of it. You want maybe to leave some pamphlets around for them, things like that, right? 2, contemplation is you're thinking about changing, but you're not quite there yet. You know you need to. I know I should exercise. I know, but you're not quite ready to do it, okay? So your strategy is, there are a couple. Education as to why, so kind of repeating this, but then emotional arousal. An example of emotional arousal, if you think about people who go to AA, a lot of times they have, they'll stand up and they'll tell about what happened, what they did when they were drinking heavily. You know, I got in a car one time and I drove and I could have killed this family of 5, or I was dancing on the bar naked, or, you know, whatever it is they did, right? They are thinking about the horrible things they did while they were doing this behavior. And, you know, you may not have such a strong emotional arousal for your behavior as you were doing, but you can think about, well, if I don't start this behavior, what's going to happen? You know, maybe you have family history of heart disease and someone in your family has high blood pressure, and that's going to increase your emotional arousal thinking it could happen to you, right? Preparation, this is an exciting stage. How many of y'all were this? Preparation's a good stage. You're making the plans. You're setting a date. That's one of your strategies. I'm planning on starting this date. You're going to announce to other people your change. Why are you going to tell other people what you're going to do? Make you accountable. You said you were going to do this. Tell people. Write down your plans, make an action plan, and we're going to work on that a little bit. And then getting support, finding people who already are there and getting them to help you out. All those things. And there are others, but those are the main ones. How many of you were in stage 4? Action. Another exciting place to be. The action plan is fun because you're already doing it and you're telling people and they're like, oh, go, good for you, you know, attaboy, and, you know, everybody's your cheerleader and everybody's proud of you. You're doing this thing and it's so exciting and new behavior. So the 3 and 4, I think, are the really fun ones. You want to keep getting support. You want to reward yourself. You want to change your environment. If you have people who are bringing you down and trying to get you back to the old behavior, try to get away from them and have new environments and things like that. All right. And then we have maintenance. Maintenance is a dangerous stage. You've been doing this for a while. The problem with maintenance is you don't have people cheering you on anymore. They're like, oh, that's old news, whatever, you know, good for you, yeah. And so you don't have that support so much anymore. And you lose motivation. And relapse tends to happen from here. A lot of times when you're in this stage, you know, you're kind of getting bored with this and the old behavior is calling you back, the couch or the cigarette or the alcohol or whatever it is, the fast food is calling you back, and you're like, well, it'll be okay if I do it just this once, and all of a sudden, boom, you're back into the old behavior again. So maintenance is dangerous. So you got to figure out what you can do to avoid that old situation. You want to avoid anything that's going to put you back there again. You want to keep on offering yourself incentives. It's got to be something that's important to you. What can you do? And this is going to keep on doing this. And you got to be persistent. We're going to talk about persistence in a little bit as to how to improve your persistence, okay? Termination. According to the model, termination happens after 6 months of doing your behavior. It becomes a habit. And that's true for a lot of people. I have one friend who quit smoking 5 years ago, and he's still in maintenance. He still has to be diligent. He still has to be careful about being around it. He still wants to smoke. Another friend who quit smoking cold turkey, the very next day, they were already in termination. They weren't tempted. No way, I'll never do it again. They never did. You know, they were already at termination. So it's different for different people. Depends on who you are as to where you go in termination. But loosely, it's usually more than 6 months. Okay, and the relapse. Bad news, most people do it. Good news, most people eventually achieve their goal. It takes about 6 times. The average is 6 times to relapse. So if you've only relapsed 3 times, hey, it's okay. And if you don't relapse again, you're ahead of the game. Every time you relapse, you learn something, right? You learn, well, that didn't work. Let's try this. Obviously, I can't do that anymore, you know, so just stay away from that situation, those people. So you learn every time what didn't work, and let's try it this way this time. So it's part of life. You know, we teach our students that you got to learn and keep evolving, and we have to too. So it's just, just think of it as part of the process that gets you there. Okay. Now we're to the second type of goal, behavioral goal. So look back at your outcome. Now some of you may already have a behavior, but think about what behaviors, like if your goal was to lose 10 pounds, what's going to get you there? Is it walking 3 times a week? Is it cutting back on the food you're eating? Is it whatever it is? Think of something, at least just one behavior for right now, maybe more than one, but just think of one behavior right now and write it down. It's what behavior will help you achieve your resolution. That's where you put it. If there are more than one, you can put it below that in other behaviors, but right now just write down one. Try to make it detailed. And then, once you write it down, picture yourself performing that behavior. Take just a minute. You can close your eyes if you want and picture yourself actually doing what you wrote down just now. You may want to share their behaviors with us? Anybody? John, what's yours? You want to tell your behavior?
Walking.
Okay. Anybody else? Drink more water. Okay. So let's work on those. Those are pretty good behavioral goals. We can make them better. Okay. So here's an example of what some of you are doing. I plan to lose 20 pounds by walking or eating more healthy. Some of you said, I want to walk. I want to drink more water. I want to eat more healthy. How about this one? I plan to lose 20 pounds this year by walking for 30 minutes at noon on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for the next 3 months. Can you see something like that? And then maybe they want to add on to it. After 3 months, they're going to do something else. Start adding fruits and vegetables, 5 servings of fruits and vegetables for the next 3 months. Because it takes a little bit of time to lose 20 pounds, not just 3 months usually. And then maybe after 6 months, they're going to add another behavior to it and do weight training 2 times a week on Tuesday and Thursday at noon. What they've done is they've used the SMART principle. So look at your goal again and see if you can make it more specific and detailed. Think of what time you can do your walking, what days of the week, what time in those days, how many minutes. Think about what kind of foods you can actually bring from home, like carrots or apples. Can you throw some blueberries on your cereal? Things like that. Think about what you can do to make it more detailed. Measurable. 30 minutes is measurable. 5 cups of water a day is measurable. Or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Make it measurable. This many servings of fruits and vegetables. I'll only have fast food 1 day a week. Make it specific and measurable, something you can think about. Of course, it's action oriented. We already are there. We've already got the action going on. We have something we can be in control of. It's not just a wish anymore, it's an action. It's got to be realistic. Look at it again. If I were to write down that I plan on getting up at 5:30 in the morning and running for an hour 5 days a week, I'm not going to do that. For me, that's not realistic.